Forum today, but we'll still go ahead and meet. We just can't do any motions or any business can be transacted. First thing we'll do is we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice forever.
I had to go work.
Okay, we'll get our introductions taken care of. My name is Phil Kaiser. I'm from the south of the Broad.
Mark Rennick's north of the Broad.
Alan Arsenault, south of the Broad.
Buffy Camputaro at large. Heather Flint, Parks and Rec.
Brock Vaughn, athletic supervisor in Beaufort.
Shane Steger, Deputy Director.
Scott Shea, assistant athletic manager, Bluffton.
Evan Christian, athletic.
We do need to request to amend the agenda to remove the fee waiver number 7. That person will not be here this time. They will probably be present the May 1st version, but
Take number 7 off. All right. Officially, we can't approve the agenda because we don't have a quorum, but we'll go by it. Let's put it that way. Any corrections or additions to the minutes, we can approve them at the next meeting. But are there any changes to the January 9th meeting? None. We'll pass that on to the May meeting for approval. Fee waiver is gone. Department reports, operations.
First slide, again, Shane Steger, Deputy Director. So our operations, we're going to kind of tweak this in the future, I think, but for this time, we're just reporting on our admissions for January and February. As you can see, fairly robust across the board. Buckwalter obviously has the bulk of the admissions. We did lose several days in January, though, due to the snow. The facility was closed for 5-ish days for the snow and ice. Request for future pieces on the operations admin side? No? Sorry, I'm not going to repeat all that, but next time.
Okay, athletics. We got plenty here.
All right. Bluffton, right now, all our registrations are basically closed. Getting ready to start soccer. We have our meeting tonight for soccer, tomorrow for flag football. Baseball and softball, they have their opening weekend or opening day this Saturday. A couple of younger kids are playing, and then games will start on Monday for the 7 and ups. Lacrosse is getting ready to crank up. I think they have their first tournament. They've had a couple scrimmages. They have their first tournament. Is it next weekend, Bob? Or tonight, and then on the weekends. Registration's open right now. We have the Diamond Youth Softball, which is the 13 to 16 girls, and Dixie Boys Baseball, which is 13 to 15. For adult sports, we were supposed to start last night, but the storm knocked us out. So that league's getting ready to start. We've had a scrimmage on Monday, and then the league will get started on this coming Monday. But that registration is closed as well. Recap from the winter. Obviously, the only thing we had going on youth-wise was youth basketball. We just got done. We hosted the district tournament this past weekend, and then we're hosting the state tournament this upcoming weekend. For as far as our team still in it, the only teams we have left are the 8U girls from Bluffton and the 10U girls from Bluffton. The 8U girls got an automatic bid to the state. 10U girls won their district tournament. Yeah, pretty much the same for Beaufort. All of our registration is closed. I forgot to put up there, we do have Diamond Youth Softball and Diamond Youth Baseball as well. And for those, we're looking at 6 for softball and 19 for baseball, whenever I looked earlier today. So I actually just remember those numbers. Surprisingly, it's not very common that happens. And then we started an indoor soccer league for adult. So that started on Tuesday. We're starting that down at Lynn Brown just because that's the floor actually currently that's kind of supposed to be used for that sport. Plus we have some basketball practices still going on at Burton Wells. But once construction starts at Lynn Brown, we're going to shift that over to Burton Wells and keep that league going over there. Other than that, we had soccer meetings with coaches Monday and Tuesday. And then we had flag football meetings last night and tomorrow. Other than that, baseball, softball is practicing and getting going. We're going to start, I think, a week after Bluffton is with baseball, and then go from there. Lacrosse, sorry, back on that last one. That's my bad, I just remembered. Lacrosse is our first season doing it, but we're going to do 3 different age groups. Is that right, Brock? 2 age groups with smaller-sided teams, and we're just going to stay in Beaufort. We had a meeting with some of the parents, and they decided that, Richmond Hill and stuff is a little bit too far of a drive for Beaufort, at least for the time being, until we can get this program kind of built up and a little bit bigger. And then we'll re-explore that option. But for now, everyone's happy just kind of playing smaller-sided, staying in Beaufort, and going from there. And then after the winter, we also have our 8U girls basketball team playing in the state tournament, which will be here. We're hosting a couple tournaments up at up at Burton Wells. So we're going to be doing that on the 8th and the 9th. And kickball is coming to a close. We've had some issues with that with weather. So our season went a little bit longer. We lost a week with the snow, and then it just seems to rain every Thursday after that. So we're wrapping that up hopefully next Thursday, barring any more bad weather. And then that is it for that. And then Evan already mentioned the tournaments that we're hosting coming up for SCAP basketball. You can see what we're hosting and who's hosting where, the age groups. We're potentially adding a summer adult basketball league over in Beaufort. And we're working on structure of what that's going to look like, potentially getting some participation from the YMCA, working with them to see what we can do to make sure it's still fully our league, but also to get a little bit more participation and not in a competitive sense for patrons, but looking forward to what we can do for that. And then, like I said, adult soccer league and lacrosse league, up and running and going well. Any questions on any of that? Awesome. Thanks.
Senior programming?
Pick me because I'm the closest to being a senior, I think. All right, not a ton to report here. As you can see at the bottom, quite a bit of home delivery meals and in-center dining. That program seems to be really thriving. A lot of field trips that happened over the last couple of months. And we are looking to start going under construction for our Booker T. Washington facility in the next few weeks or so to kind of get a facelift inside, flooring, painting, new cabinets, etc. And on a later slide, we are in the process of starting 2 new senior community centers, Agnes and Wesley Felix.
Questions? Thank you. Aquatics and a Bluffton pool.
Guys. Okay, so Battery Creek Pool. So Battery Creek is still the same as always. The hours are still the same. We still have our school swim lessons going on. For Battery Creek, the Finn swim team is the one that comes to that pool. I gave you the different numbers for the Finns and the public admission. Any questions about Battery Creek Pool? Cool. Okay, So Beaufort Pool, same as always. Hours are still the same. We have our school swim lessons that go on there. The program that goes there is the ISR, which is the infant swim lessons, and the water aerobics as well. And then our regular check-in. Any questions? Okay. Next one. These two are both closed.
Imagine that.
So, the Alvin Settles pool and the Bluffton pool are still closed for right now. So, hopefully opening soon. So,
Questions?
nope, okay. So, we have our swim lessons. We have private swim lessons, group swim lessons. We have our stroke improvement classes. Those can be all offered online. You just go on there, register, and then you're put into a program. We just had a lifeguarding class at our Battery Creek pool. Our next one is coming up at the end of March at our Beaufort pool.
How many showed up for that?
For the lifeguarding one that we just had, there were 3 in that class. So it was supposed to be in January, but that was the snow time frame. So it got pushed to February. And then I'm hoping we'll get enough for March. We do have another class scheduled for April as well. So, cool. Any other questions about pools? Okay.
Recreation.
All right, so we have some new classes that we're looking to start. Pickleball in April. We have the kids fitness as well as the tonic class starting in March. The kids fitness is for kids ages 6 to 11. The tonic class is for adults starting at 18. Both of these, well, all 3 of these will be held at the Charles Lynn Brown Center. These classes are in addition to what we already offer, which is across the board from Buckwalter and Charles Lynn Brown. As far as camps, we started our new out of school camp. We held that in February. It was a 2-day crafty camp. The kids were out of school for I think like 3 days. So 2 out of those 3 days, we held a 2-day crafty camp at Lynn Brown. Although the participation was low, the kids had a blast. So I look forward to offering more in the coming school year, and hopefully we'll get more participation. We're going to have a spring break camp offered at Buckwalter and Burton Wells from April 14th to the 17th, so that's a Monday through a Thursday for ages 6 to 12. As well as our summer camp will be offered again this year at Bluffton Center, Burton Wells, and possibly Charles Lynn Brown. We had event in February through our partnership with the Select Health Medicaid program. So they came out and they had vendors from the school district, the police department, let's see who else was out there. We had First Choice, First Steps that came out, and they gave information as well as school supplies for the children. At that event, we saw about 200 kids. And then we have a community baby shower coming up. It's going to be held at our Burton Wells Center. It's also through our partnership with First Choice. Any questions?
Director's report.
So an update on our partnerships. We continue to, well, we started our adapted basketball program. So in the fall, we did adapted soccer. So this is adapted basketball. It's a little bit more challenging than our adapted soccer. So honestly, we'll probably go back to soccer in the future. But it's just to give folks with children with disabilities an opportunity to kind of get their skills and socialize, et cetera. So we had our first one last Sunday. It's on Sundays, and we had good press coverage in the first round. We'll see what we're looking at for the second round here. We're also still kind of partnering with the Special Olympics basketball program, so they'll be using our Bluffton Center gym to get some of their practices in, just as kind of trying to further that relationship with SOAR Special Olympics off Hilton Island. And then continue to host some of the private public schools using our facilities across Ladies Island, Hilton Christian, et cetera. So more on the softball, baseball as we kind of pivot to that. And then we had some basketball gym usage kind of in the winter piece. Continue to partner with Thumbs Up, and as Vita mentioned, the Health Connections. And then construction-wise, as I mentioned in the previous, we are in the kind of the infant phase of planning the new community centers at Wesley Felix and Agnes. So that's going to be a fun kind of evolution as we work to see what the community needs and incorporate that into these new community centers. As I mentioned, we are starting the Booker T renovation soon. Charles Lynn Brown, you've probably heard several folks mention that. We're kind of getting a facelift in the gymnasium, new floors, new rims, new bleachers, et cetera. So that'll kind of bring that facility back up to the kind of quality that we expect. The Bluffton Pool, so we are not advertising a date yet on when it will reopen. We have been meeting with the contractors frequently. We were just there earlier this week to kind of walk through and see where we stand. The wall is supposed to be here towards the end of this month, which was the longest lead and what was deceptively long. And this is kind of the thing that we expected to be done a while ago, but it is in theory supposed to be here by the end of the month, and look forward to seeing what that actually looks like. But other than that, the inside's getting kind of a more or less a full facelift, new tile, new floors, painted, new stalls, new ventilation. The point of this really was to do climate control in there to kind of make it so that we weren't fighting against ourselves with HVAC, et cetera. That was the big crux of it, but they're also doing some kind of facelift stuff. So we're hopeful soon. Bluffton Center, we also have planned renovations for the inside of the senior center and then also the gymnasium, and then a larger scale project to kind of look at the fields and figure out how to make them potentially turf, redo the baseball fields to get a little more distance on them. That's not a near-term project, but it is in the works to kind of get that moving. Try to meet the demand of baseball fields in this area. The Shell Point Park, we have partially closed Shell Point Park. There's a tennis court and a couple pickleball courts there. There's been root intrusion, which is tearing up the court, so we've closed it for safety purposes, and we're in the process of what we have quotes for getting it completely resurfaced and getting the court done to bring them again back up to our standards. And then Southside Pickleball, if you have seen it, if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go out there. We added several new pickleball courts and a brand new outdoor basketball court there as well. However, we had to redo the contractor had to redo the floor of the pickleball court because it was puddling. So they're in that process now. So we're not open. It looks to the public like we should be open, but we want to make sure that the courts last a long time, which means kind of smoothing out the surfaces so it doesn't puddle and decay. We are also monitoring, and I might have mentioned this on the senior piece, but we are also watching the continuing resolution. Our senior program is funded heavily by the federal government. The continuing resolution from the fiscal side, if a budget isn't passed, then we will have to be looking at how we're continuing to run the senior program and the dining piece of that. So that is something that we are watching closely. And other than that, we've got our advertisements out for our camp and lifeguard positions for the summer. So if you know folks that are looking for some, we'd love to have them. And that is all.
Questions? Okay. Heather, you just make a note that our next meeting is May 1st at Beaufort County Council Chambers. We do need to approve the minutes from today, or from the January meeting at that meeting. But I don't think there's any other business being carried over. So, my Tom is running this meeting. We only do.
You're way
21
better.
minutes.
Way
Great
better.
job.
Way better than Bruce.
And Johnny went, John Eddie.
All right, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.